when I'm looking at this matchup, we have to be able to separate Oregon and USC, right? You look at the spread, it started out at 24, it's gone down to 21.5. Now, USC is a better football team than Colorado is overall. USC is better than Colorado up front. But it's a little bit different. And the reason that I picked Oregon to win the Pac-12 and that we have Oregon number 5 in our power rankings is because we feel like they're the most balanced team right now in the Pac-12. At least I do, offensively and defensively up front. I feel like they're the most complete team. Maybe that's a better way to put it. USC offensively is, I think they have the best offense in the Pac-12. I don't think that's, you can debate that, but I don't think that's a crazy take by any stretch of the imagination. You have the returning Heisman winner. Sure. You have an army of wide receivers. You're good enough up front. They're not elite. I don't think they're nasty up front on the offensive line, but they're good enough. They got Marshawn Lloyd transferring from South Carolina. Defensively, I don't think the defensive line is bad. I don't think they're great. I don't think their front seven's great. I am, however, worried about the back end. Now, there's been a lot of really good D-lines that can mask a average, secondary. But I think Colorado and Shedeur Sanders is good enough to be able to put up some points against USC. The biggest question is in the red zone for Colorado. Can you score touchdowns and not field goals? Because USC is the number 1 team in finishing drives in the country offensively. In the red zone? In the red zone. They are the number 1 team in the country. So when you're looking at offense, 73.5 is the total in the over. The question to me is not is USC going to win. I think USC is going to win this game. I do think it's going to be tighter a little bit than the Oregon game was because Colorado can hang around in a track meet, and I don't think USC is to the level of Oregon's defense. But Colorado has to play almost perfect on offense. Almost perfect. You can't turn the ball over. USC may score on every possession. I'm not saying they'll score a touchdown on every possession, but they will probably get points on every possession that they have. So the only way that you can hang in this game and have a chance to win it, not just cover, but have a chance to win it, is if you basically score on every possession, which means Shedeur has to be perfect. The receivers have to catch balls on third down. You may have to go for some fourth downs you wouldn't normally go for, and maybe do some things on special teams to try and steal a possession or two. But I don't think this is as much of a David versus Goliath as Oregon and Colorado was.
We're going to see. I do agree with you on Oregon's balance. I think they're one of the most balanced teams in the country, and balance meaning twofold, not just offensive strength and defensive strength, but then on the offensive side of the ball, run to pass balance.
Complementary.
Exactly, and it shouldn't be surprising that Oregon has improved a lot on defense. I mean, Dan Lanning was the defensive coordinator at Georgia when they were winning that first national championship. So none of that is surprising. Oregon stayed on schedule so well in that game. That's what was really impressive to me. Running when they were supposed to run, and we've seen this Colorado defense for the last few weeks. Man, they have deficiencies, but somehow they're still winning games. That's what was most impressive. Not that they were playing like elite football on both sides of the ball, but they were finding a way to win those games. Finally, Oregon exposed that, not only with the quick bubble game, but then running the ball and deep shots and all this kind of stuff. And then on the defensive side of the ball, just being able to nullify anything that Colorado wanted to do. Now, Travis Hunter may have been good for a deep shot here or there throughout the game on a big play, or maybe a pass breakup on defense or something, but Oregon thoroughly, dismantled Colorado on both sides of the ball. Actually, in all 3 phases.
They miss him more defensively than offensively.
And I don't think that's a crazy take. Now, on the USC side, though, I think that Southern California has been hearing about how they haven't improved on defense, and they have the worst defense, and they're only one-sided, and they're not balanced, and all this stuff. I think this is a great opportunity for USC to come in and play physical defense and say, no, we want to do the same thing that Oregon did. We want to shut down this high-powered Colorado offense, and then, of course, we're also going to score when we get the football. Now, remember, Oregon pulled Bo Nix and their starters right into the fourth quarter. So that was 42-0 at that point. Colorado scores a late touchdown. No telling how bad that one could have gotten. Let's see what happens with USC on offense. But is a 56 to, it's different if USC scoring in the 50s, but Colorado's also in the 30s at the beginning of the fourth, because a couple big plays could keep them in football.
48-31.
That's different to me. Yeah.
Again,
if you're Colorado, why not play keep away?
Because that's not.
Why not? I mean, why not play? That's the only way you win this game.
Mean just with
it's the only way you win this game.
It's hard to do that without running, though.
I know. I mean, if there's ever a time to get it right on the ground, it's against USC.
Well, I'm telling you, you're going into the strength of USC's defense. Not that I think that USC is this elite defensive team, and I want to give them the benefit of the doubt. I don't hate Lincoln Riley. I don't hate USC. I think sometimes people misconstrue being honest are doubting somebody as like the translation for, oh, you must hate them. No, like you say all the time, if I want to make people happy, I'd sell ice cream and cookies for a living. Yeah. But I'm telling you what I think when it comes down to football, most of the time my ass is right.
Yeah.
But what I'm looking at with USC. If I'm Colorado, okay, do you take a page out of the playbook you did against TCU and supplement? If you're going to try and play keep away, the only chance you really have is through quick game in the passing game, but they want to go fast. That's why their stuff works, is because they do go fast, and it's your strength, your passing game, versus USC's weakness, in my opinion, in their secondary. So now you're going to cut off your strength against their weakness to make take your weakness against their strength. That doesn't make any sense to me. I think you're playing with fire there. But here's the dark side. I want to make sure people understand this. Here's the dark side of all the hype that Deanna and them have gotten. You don't have the element of sneaking up on USC now. Mm-hmm. Colorado is kind of, it's almost like a catch-22, right? Or a double-edged sword, because it's great that you've gotten all this hype. It's great PR, but now you don't have an elite team, but other teams are preparing for you like you're an elite team. You're now somewhat of somebody else's Super Bowl. So you have the weakest team you're going to have at Colorado, and in that same calculus, you're going to get everybody else's best shot, because now they want to humble you. Don't think that these coaches, Lincoln Riley and Dan Lanning and DeBoer and all these guys, they know they've got to recruit against Deion Sanders. They know they have to. Even if you're going to the Big Ten and you're USC and Colorado's going to the Big 12, they're all going after the same crop of guys. So being able to walk in that room and say, oh yeah, Prime got game day, he's on 60 Minutes. Let me tell you about the time we beat them to sleep 55-17. Like, so don't think for a second that Lincoln and them aren't going to try and run the checkup if they get a chance. And they want that Caleb Williams, Shadur Sanders matchup. They want Caleb to win that Heisman again, obviously.
For sure.
Guys, are you tired of wasting your money on testosterone boosters that don't work? Okay, we all know. All right, you get older, you lose that energy. You lose some of that T meaning testosterone. That's science, man. That's how it is. We all go through.
Total.
Some more than others. That's why our sponsor, though, Nugenix Total T, lets you try before you buy on their supply. Get a complimentary sample when you text 231-231 and you enter the keyword Crain. That's C-R-A-I-N. Because again, we get older. We have less energy due to the natural loss of testosterone. Do something about it, man. Get Nugenix. You'll feel revived, energized. You'll work out like you used to. You'll be able to extend the play on the outside like Doug Flutie, hit home runs like Frank Thomas. It's made with Testofen. It's a Benjamin Button. You'll turn back the clock. All right? You'll feel better. He's pointing at it right now. Look, wait, Blaine, tell him about it, man.
I'm telling you. Why do you think I'm healing faster than normal human?
That Achilles
you are
is almost
walking around good.
You really are. It's actually like low-key impressive.
You could go play for the
it is low-key impressive. So get a complimentary bottle of Nugenix Total T when you text 231-231 and you enter the keyword Crain. So the number is 231-231, and then the text, you type C-R-A-I-N, and if you text right now, you'll get a bottle of Nugenix Thermo X, their newest and most powerful fat incinerator ever. Make that fat is out of here, mister. Key ingredients to help you lose fat fast and get lean even faster, absolutely free. 231-231. Enter keyword Crain. Texting enrolls you into a... Guys, go fast. I want to read it fast. Texting enrolls you into reoccurring automated text messages. Consider not required to purchase. Message and data rates apply. #1 doctor recommended brand by primary care physicians based on an independent survey conducted by IQVIA 2022. Woo!
Skip!
That'll be sold separately, bro.
If you're Colorado, you have a 0% chance to win this game if you get a track meet with those guys. A 0%. You're not beating Usain Bolt in a track meet. I mean, they're giving up almost 160 yards on the ground.
That seems like the only way
they're giving up 160 yards on the ground a game.
So what's the answer?
And you have an experienced quarterback who can change the tempo of a game and still be comfortable. You have to keep the ball out of his hands.
So you're saying, so let me just make sure. You're saying, and I don't want to stick on this too long, you're saying they should run the ball,
more.
Or you're saying they should operate the offense at a slower pace?
Both.
When they've been
both.
So go totally.
You do both. Dylan Edwards is a good back, and he's good enough to run the ball on
Well,
USC.
if I'm an antelope and I'm running away from a lion, I'm not going to flip on my head and try and headstand all the way away from him and change up what makes me good.
USC's not a lion. They're not a lion.
Compared to Colorado,
they're more of a jackal.
Lion.
All right, they're more of a jackal. That's what USC
score?
is.
That's what I'm looking at, too. How quick does USC score? Is it big plays all over the field? Because
they
then Shadur gets more.
Tempos.
Well, Shadur will get more touches, and that was one of the things that Oregon did was you had these longer sustained drive. Your best player for Colorado is over on the sidelines now.
Yeah.
You know, and so that was one of the things Oregon was able to do. I don't know if USC is just scoring at will or maybe even getting in the red zone at will, but then having to kick field goals. That can make it interesting.
Yeah. Well, we're going to preview the rest of these big games with Chris Marlar, LSU, Ole Miss, Kansas, Texas. There's a ton on the board. I mean, even Georgia going to Auburn, which Blaine wants you to put the rent on Georgia.
The rent.
Which is probably not a bad idea. Hey, YouTube. If you haven't subscribed yet, go ahead and do that. Hit that like button. Turn that notification bell on. We've got a long season ahead of us, and it never stops. Thanks for riding with us.